Welcome to episode 8 of Beyond the Feed, a space where creators come and share how they got started, where they're going, the ups and downs, and everything in between. Today we have Tyler Schwartz, a runner, a creator, and the leader of the country's biggest running group. And this all started with content. Okay, Tyler, tell me about Endorphins.
Endorphins is my business. It's one of the largest running communities in the world. And the whole mission is to spread positivity and happiness through movement and exercise. We've been doing it for 3 years. And the whole thing is about bringing people together around their favorite interests and passion. And for me, that's running. And that's why we do it. And it makes people really happy. So it makes me happy.
And how did you, I've run with you guys. I'm really involved. I see like your mission, spreading positivity and happiness through movement and exercise. I see that everywhere. Like I feel like people really resonate with that. Where did that come from? Yeah,
I mean, there's that is a really loaded question, I would say. The first thing I would say is in school, in business school, in college, people talk about mission statements and values and core values. But if you I know you don't work at a big corporate company, but if you were to ask one of your friends what the mission of the company that they work at is, I would be very certain that 9 out of 10 would have no idea what that mission is.
Well, when I worked at GM, we would talk about this all the time. No one knew.
If you don't know why you're doing it or what your purpose is, then you don't have any direction in what you're doing. So for us, we have 12 different communities across the US, and it'll probably be 20 by the end of the year. And it's growing quite quickly. And the way that we all stay connected and united is through our mission. At the beginning of we host over 1,500 events a year. And at the beginning of every single one of these events, we say what the mission is. And that grounds us, and that sets the intention and the purpose of why we're gathering together.
That's awesome. It's easy to not forget, but not be present in the mission. If you go to an event or some sort of experience, and when you just state it, everyone thinks about it. And you're very mindful of that. I think that's cool. How did you where did it come from? Did you sit down one day and you're like, this is how I want to explain our mission, or did you really sit and workshop it and think about how to phrase it? Because it really resonates. I see people sharing that online. How did you really get to that phrase?
Yeah, there's a few different kind of stories that kind of all come together on this. I feel like running is typically something that's very performance driven. If you look at Nike or any of the brands, they're talking about how fast you can be. Mm-hmm. There's really not many communities online, whether brands or in-person communities, that are about making friends. And I think after the pandemic and with the rise in wearables and technology and data, and then also just the increase in loneliness, depression, anxiety, and working from home, COVID, people scrolling on their feeds. It was clear that there was a huge issue in the world where people were lacking friendships.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the culmination of many things, as I discussed, that made our mission kind of come to life. It's about bringing people together around their favorite interests and making friends. It has nothing to do with running. It's all about making friends.
It's a community that happens to run. Something like that?
Yeah. I mean, running is the shared interest, but our vice the reason why we gather is to make connection.
And how did, has running been a big part of your life, or when did your running, as an individual, when did your running journey start?
Yeah, that's a good question. Running has been, we're all born to run.
Yeah.
When we're little kids in the playground, we're running around.
So true.
Right. And the thing is, many people don't learn how to run, which is a whole different topic. But running is something that we as humans, dated back to prehistoric times. We were runners, right? It's what we do. So I've been running forever, but it was typically a punishment when I was playing sports. Get on the line, blow the whistle, run sprints. It was never something that seemed like it was fun. It was something that you had to do, not something that you got to do. I grew up in Boston, and I used to go to the Boston Marathon every single year with my family. It was a huge tradition where we would go on Marathon Monday. Is a really special thing. They shut down all the schools, and it's a big holiday in Boston. And I would go to the Red Sox game with my family, and then we'd leak out into mile 25, which is Kenmore Square. It's the last mile of the race, and the game starts at 10 a.m. and then the end of the game has the last couple waves of runners, so you get to watch them and cheer them on. And ever since I was a little kid, running was really, really important to me because of that tradition. And so I've been running forever, I feel like.
That's awesome. And did your family run too, or
no?
It was just being in that environment, you felt that energy, and then you just started running yourself.
Yeah, something that spoke to me, and I was really inspired watching people that ran the Boston Marathon. And I was locked down at the Boston bombings in 2013, and at that point in time, I said I'm going to run this race one day. And yeah,
this. I feel like you're running it this year, right?
Yeah,
for the first
I am
time?
running it in 6 weeks, so I'm really excited about it.
Are you? What are the emotions around that?
I'm going to cry. Like I will cry on the course several times. It's like a very like emotional day for me. And
Yeah.
I got locked down at BU during the Boston bombing. So like it's very, very emotional day for me and my family and my friends and my community. So it's going to be really exciting. And like, I feel like for runners, like Boston is the pinnacle of running in the sport. Like you train quite hard to be able to qualify for the race, or you have to like raise $10,000 to be able to get a bib. It's really difficult to get in. And it's like the North Star when you start running. For me, when I started running, I said one day I want to qualify for Boston. I haven't qualified, but I'm still running. So
and I know you've dealt with injuries too, like over the past couple of years. Are you feeling prime right now?
No, I'm not. But I think prime is different. Like my definition of prime has changed quite like drastically ever since I had back surgery from running.
Yeah.
I was training for a 50-mile race. I ran loads of miles and I ran my body into the ground, and I ended up having to take about 18 months off from the sport. And yeah, I had back surgery. It wasn't great. And yeah, before my back surgery, like prime was me running really fast. But now my purpose has changed, and I just want to be with others and help facilitate. You just want to
get out there.
Exactly. I want to be able to run with other people and facilitate connection for those people. So for me, I'm in my prime because I get to do that every single day, and this is what I love to do. But I'm not running very fast.
It's a good mindset. Like sometimes your success or your prime changes.
Totally.
Yeah, I remember when we met, you were doing all those crazy like long races. You ran from Montauk to Times Square. Like it was just the beginning, and it seemed like, that I can see how the prime has changed.
Yeah, I mean, I was
and
doing
so is endorphins.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the second that I stopped caring about my personal pursuit of performance, like, is the second that endorphins started to grow, which is a really interesting thing. Like, I stopped investing in my personal training and I started investing in the growth of others, and that's when endorphins started to grow a lot.
Let's dive into the journey of endorphins. It's not that long. It's only been a couple of years. We met when you were just starting it. You were still working in the tech VC space at the time. And I remember you never mentioned you were like planning to build something huge or like make this a full-time job or career. And we got coffee one day. You're like, yeah, I quit my job. I'm like doing running full-time. And I was like, what? Like, what? How did that happen?
It wasn't by design. Let me tell you. I mean, I started posting on the internet about running because it's what I loved.
Yeah.
It's really brought me a ton of joy, and it was a creative outlet. I feel like adults these days like don't do many creative things. We go to the office.
Yeah.
We eat our lunch. We have our coffee. We go to the water cooler. We shoot the shit with our friends, and then we go home and
it's like a simulation.
Exactly.
Just straight line.
So like I'm always searching for different ways to express myself, and one of those was creating content on the internet about running, which made me really excited and really pushed me outside my comfort zone. And
what was uncomfortable, like being in front of the camera at the time? Or
I mean, anyone put themselves on camera, they're typically not comfortable. Meanwhile, we're like in the studio and I'm like,
I mean, that's where you start. Like,
I mean, people say like, hey, just like film yourself. Like my content journey was post one time a day for 30 days and see what happens. And I had no idea what I was going to be posting each day. And I look back on the content, I'm like, this is crap. But it's also so powerful because I got to see myself like really transform in my creative outlets. Now I feel super comfortable on camera, but I also can understand what's good content, what's bad content, what's going to perform on social media, what isn't. We produce content. You help us produce content all the time for Endorphins. So like we're really dialed in it now. Whereas like I learned so much about brand building and content creation, which is now like super important for building a brand or a business. So like it catapulted me, which is really, really important. But yeah.
I didn't realize that's how you started, because I started the same exact way. I remember talking with you about how I should be making content for over the past year or so. And then finally a few months ago, I'm like, I'm going to post every single day. Like I'm done waiting. I'm going to do this. And the first 30 days were like so cringy. My friend Phil, who works in this office, he explained it to me as Cringe Mountain. You're climbing Cringe Mountain. And at the end of the month, I wasn't like that good at creating content, but I had momentum. I don't post every day, but it got me through that initial hump of like, okay, I can do this.
What's Cringe Mountain?
Cringe Mountain is like climbing up this mountain of cringe where you're getting comfortable, like filming on the street and having people look at you and like being self-conscious about what is that person thinking of me. And eventually you get to this point where you just don't care. And you realize like you start to enjoy creating content and focus more on the value it can provide to you, or your brand or whatever you want to do. Like, I mean, sure, some people will unfollow you and some people will look at you funny, but once you get to that peak, it's like downhill. It feels easier. And for me, it took like a month, and now I'm like, I can't stop doing it. It's so fun, and I don't have a huge audience or anything, but it's people see it, and it's opening doors, you know. So that's how I view Cringe Mountain.
Cringe Mountain's a term that me and some friends in the content world talk about all the time when we
that was you were testing me.
Well, I was curious what your definition of it was. Like, Cringe Mountain to me is social norms and social perception of what you're doing. Like, you might be aligned with what you're doing, but others might look at you funny because of you putting yourself out there and trying something new and expressing yourself, which is like a deep rooted anxiety. And it's just
all in your head.
Yeah, exactly. But it's funny. Others will look at you and be like, what is this person doing? Even though it could be great for you and it's that creative outlet. And I think it takes a long time to re-educate the people in your life that this is something that you're going to be doing. And I lost a lot of friends through that process. Like, I had a lot of friends that were deeply like close to me at the time say that this is making them uncomfortable. And like, that made me uncomfortable because
and like that's so odd to me, because like if they're your friends and that makes them feel weird, like they don't support you, like they were never going to support you anyways.
Totally. And like, it was actually a blessing. But I think that's what Cringe Mountain is expressing yourself in a way that might feel uncomfortable to others, and like putting yourself out there constantly until you've climbed that mountain and it no longer is like, there's no social anxiety around what you're doing or no weird perception of what you're doing.
And when did you think, like for you, when did you get to that point?
I still am climbing.
Really?
Yeah, man. Like, every single time I post something on the internet, I consider how is this going to make me perceived?
Yeah.
Or like, and I think that's more maybe brand building at this point. Like, I think maybe it's changed from like, how am I going to feel about this versus how is the world going to perceive this in a more broad lens? Like, for example, like last year I was doing a lot of like influencer stuff for my personal brand. And like now I feel like that might dilute the brand of Endorphins and what we're doing. So like, I'm really considerate of the things that I'm posting on the internet just because it's my brand and I don't want to dilute that.
Yeah, I think let me go a little deeper into my view of Cringe Mountain. I think you get to this point where you're comfortable like being on camera, but then there's different layers to it. Like for me, like I'm still climbing it too. I'm getting more and more comfortable being like more vulnerable about like the deeper story behind why I'm creating content or why I'm building Click. And that I'm still climbing that mountain. So I think,
yeah, I went on a major tangent with the Cringe Mountain thing.
Yeah. I'm like, how do I bring this back here?
Yeah, me and my friends talk about Cringe Mountain a lot though, so it's good. And I'll have to introduce you to them so they can come on because they all have different experiences with it.
Would love to. Okay, so let's talk about career a little bit. Like we talked about how you were in like tech and the VC world. How did you end up there? Because that's obviously a very different lifestyle than being a creator and like running this huge running community. Like how did you get there?
Yeah, that's a good question. I have an interesting like zigzag career path, and I feel like nothing in life is linear. But my career started in marketing, doing basically brand building for early stage startups. And I realized that the people in the room that were the most valued were the engineers. And I decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to stop doing this marketing thing. I'm going to learn how to code.
Right.
Which I did. And I did that for 5 years as an engineer at early stage tech startups. And I also realized like because of my marketing and my communication, like I was probably more like poised to be in between stakeholders and business leaders and the engineering team. So I moved to product, and that's where I really understood like what a consumer would want and then how we could build it.
Yeah.
And I really got to like bridge both of my skill sets into one, which was really powerful. That was like probably in 2015 to 2018 timeframe. I was learning a ton. And I decided, you know what, I'm punching way outside my weight class at this job. Let me try and start something on my own. And I tried. I had a founder breakup, and I was coding a fintech product. And one of the people that I tried to get to invest in my business ended up saying, hey, I don't think this is the right thing for you, but you probably shouldn't do this. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I'm going to try and do it. And then 4 months later, I said to him, hey, you were right. And I was wrong. And he said, you start tomorrow. And that's how I got my job in private equity.
Oh yeah. I think I was at this office of yours one day, right?
Possibly.
In Soho?
You went to Jono's office, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Jono's my mentor. He had my job before myself.
Got it.
At the group that was investing in early stage startups.
And were you like happy in that role? Or were you curious about like something else and you started running and exploring that? Like what was like the impetus for like running content? It sounds like when you have a pretty cool job that you're learning a lot at.
Yeah, I think like society tells you what's cool. but you have to tell yourself what's cool.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really important distinction. What I mean by that is like when I was a kid or when I was in college, like I thought being in VC would be the coolest thing ever.
Right.
And I thought I'd have autonomy. And I thought that like you see people on Twitter talking about investing in startups and they all seem like they're really important, credible people. But then when I was in the role, I actually felt like it wasn't what it was all made out to be. And then when I started posting videos on the internet about running and talking about my passion, which is what I actually cared about, I realized like I wanted to be in a role that actually spoke to my heart versus something that I thought society told me was cool. And that's when I said, you know what, like I really want to invest more energy into the thing where my heart is. And that's actually our logo of Endorphins. You have a lightning bolt and you have a heart. The lightning bolt represents your energy. The heart represents your heart. And when you have those two things aligned, that's when you feel endorphins. And that's kind of the impetus of our business and our name and why.
So awesome.
Yeah.
Makes so much sense.
Yeah. I think like everything that you do in life, you should be thinking about how you can align your energy with your heart, because then you'll never work a day in your life. And it took me a long time to figure that out. I feel like people are always telling you, do what you love, but that didn't really resonate with me until I was probably like 28 years old. And then I realized I love to run, I love to be with people, and I love to foster connection. So I reallocated my energy and put it where my heart was.
And how do you make money today? Because like we live in New York.
Yeah.
It costs a lot to live here. And I remember Endorphins was starting to take off and we had a conversation about how you were so against selling anything, even apparel. Like I don't even want to sell t-shirts. Yeah. I know you've done that. Now you have the Endorphins app. Like how are you staying afloat right now?
Yeah.
As an individual?
Yeah. It's been a really interesting journey. At first, I didn't want to sell anything. People in my life were like, sell something, sell a shirt. And I really didn't want to break this like transactional divide with my community because I didn't want anyone to feel like we were commoditizing the community. I thought that there is a really like strong difference between a commodity and a community. A commodity is when you're selling something to someone, where a community is when you're creating value for the people in your network. And I realized like we can do both. And it actually became pretty clear that we do an amazing job listening to our community. Just like when I was in software engineering and product, like we would ask our customers for feedback and then we'd implement that feedback. There's no different than how we build our community today. We are constantly sending out Google Forms asking for people's feedback, and then we do our best to implement that feedback.
And did you see people starting to ask for apparel?
Yeah. So what ended up happening, like how I ended up leaving my job and like how it really ended up working was, it was probably May 2023. I was training for this 50-mile race. This is around when we met. I was like doing these crazy runs. My social media following was starting to grow a bit and I was having success online. The community was also growing. We maybe had 3,000 members, and which is tiny. I think we have 25,000 now, and which is still tiny. And someone in the community said, "Hey, I'm running the New York City Marathon this year. Does anyone want to train with me?" And I said, like, if people want to train, let me know and I can get a coach. And you might have met Rebecca Stowe. Yeah. She's a very notable coach in New York City. I said,
she's my coach in the Endorphins app.
Yeah, there you go. She's awesome. She's been involved and for years, and she's very much so like integrated into the organization. We basically said to Coach Stowe, "Hey, do you want to like help these 300, 500 athletes train for the New York City Marathon?" We didn't know at the time how many there were going to be. I just said, if there's 50 athletes, Coach Stowe will do this. And 350 people ended up signing up. And we sold the marathon training program, and that generated revenue. And that's what I said, hey, you know what?
So you actually sold this training program.
Yeah. So training has been like the core of like how we've made money to date. It's also like how we've decided to build the training technology that we're building. We started out as a PDF. Right. And we did online calls and we did in-person runs. And then we built out, we actually filmed Coach Stowe talking about all the workouts. So that way you could get more detail about each exercise and workout. And the feedback that we got was, you know, it's not as personalized as we'd want it. So we built an app that takes activity data to give you real-time feedback and optimizations. So, and we built a little bit of a team around it, and we have some amazing engineers building the technology now. And it's crazy to think like 3 years ago it was a PDF, and today we have a best-in-class training technology that is supporting thousands of runners. So that was one way that we made money. A lot of people in the community wanted gear. I actually had no interest in making gear, but we made our own performance wear. It took us 11 months to build. Private label. It was like really, really high-end race day gear and long sleeve apparel that you can wear when you're training. That was a successful endeavor for us, and we still have it. Anyone can get it today. And then we do partnerships. They're very limited, but one of our partners is New Balance. I'm wearing New Balance, and they support they support our organization, and they've actually made our organization flourish. When we were talking to brands about partnering with Endorphins, we were saying, hey, like, will you support all of our communities? But many of the brands wanted to actually have our communities do ads for them, which is not support. Right. It was actually support.
Like very transactional.
Exactly. Yeah. It was like, how many times are you going to post about us? What are you going to do for us? Whereas we work with New Balance and they really just support our community, meaning we say to them, hey,
just feels more authentic.
Well, we talked about connection a lot in the earlier part of this conversation. We went to New Balance and said, hey, our runs are 45 minutes long. If you come in and buy coffee for our members after the event, which I think you've probably been to maybe some of these events in New York City, the surface area of connection may double because of the coffee. What it looks like is, hey, it's 45 minutes, but if we add a coffee into the mix, it's now another 45 minutes. The event is now 90 minutes. People are making more friends. People are making stronger connections. And then people attribute those friendships to New Balance because they paid for everyone's coffee.
How are you like, do you do anything to really steer the attention to New Balance, like when they're having coffee, like, or just people just know?
People know. I mean, it's extremely integrated. Like, we have included New Balance into basically all of our comms, all of our messaging, all of our leaders get quarterly like packages from New Balance so that way they can wear them at the runs. And we've gotten bibs to races, which has been super, super helpful because it helps support our members achieving their goals and makes them happy when they can achieve their goals, which goes back to our mission, which is really important. They've done so much to incorporate feedback into the experience, meaning we do this thing called the review program. It's very similar to Endorphins. They'll send gear out to members. They've sent out thousands of shoes, thousands of tops and leggings and sports bras to members, and they'll ask for feedback. Super simple.
Yeah. And I have a pair of the shoes and I think I never would have gone on my way to buy New Balance shoes. And now I think I'll only buy New Balance shoes.
Can we clip that? Can we clip that? We need to clip that.
No, seriously, like the New Balance 1080s. I love them.
It's awesome. And I don't think people would ever go out of their way to probably buy it. But then we get it in the hands of real runners, and then real runners, like, you're a real runner.
There's no reason not to try. You're like,
why would I
I'll
not
try
take
a free
this?
Pair of shoes.
Exactly.
And then you're in.
And then now we have Colin who's helping us produce it and hears us talking about the 1080 and then the rest is history. And I think like it goes back. It's funny. Like I'm even thinking of like Bitcoin. Yeah. When Bitcoin like goes off, like you have your friends sitting at like the dinner table talking about, did you guys whatever? Like it's kind of the same thing. When people are runners, it's a strong passion point for people. And I'm relating running to Bitcoin here. That's such a stretch. But it's true. I mean, it's a passion for people. And when they sit around the dinner table and they're talking about the races that they're training for or the things that they're doing outside of work, they're talking about what they love to do. And if New Balance is supporting our athletes, then they're going to tell their friends at the dinner table, and then maybe 3 of those out of the 10
compounds.
Exactly, it compounds really hard.
I mean, this is like, you're at an amazing point with your community and like your personal brand. But let's go back in time a little bit to how you got here. Like content was how you started as an individual, growing your presence, and kind of what helped you start Endorphins. But how do you, like, what's your strategy or approach to content with your community? Because I've taken photos and videos for you guys. I know it's super core to what you do, but like, I'm curious to unpack that a little bit more. What's your approach there?
Sure. So I used to make a lot of videos on the internet about my own personal brand. I've really stopped doing that, which is unfortunate because it was my creative outlet, but I've really shifted my attention away from my personal to supporting our members and creating a content strategy to support Endorphins.
So just a time thing. Like, you just didn't have the time to create personal.
I mean, I wasn't finding purpose in it. Like, I was really talking about like my personal running journey, which was like really fun and exciting. And then when I got injured, like that wasn't as exciting for me. And we talked about this a little bit earlier. Like, I started investing my energy into the community versus myself. We have Vicky, who you've met. Vicky is a rock star. Shout out Vicky. She does all the content for Endorphins and makes the whole entire engine work. Without her, it would be nothing. She's also a super notable running creator on the internet and just like an amazing soul and human, and Endorphins would be nothing without her. She has like it down to a science. Yeah. And
she does.
She has it down to a science, and we work really well together because we both have content brains that have gone through the social media world on our personal brands, and we can now apply it to brand content, and we understand what works, and we're trying to really figure out a way to highlight all of our members. And it's really difficult because we're not in 12 cities, but our organization is. So how can we create a content strategy that highlights people as equal as possible across 12 different places when we can't be there?
Yeah.
And there's a lot happening. There's races and there's achievements and there's events that are happening in all these cities, and we want to highlight them all. So we work with people like yourself and members of our community, which is really cool, to capture content in our different communities, so that way we can highlight all the things that are going on, and it's a full-time operation.
And do you do anything to like motivate or inspire community members to create content as well, or is that all organic?
Yeah, so like we don't tell our organization, we have 3 different levels of involvement. We have city leads, we have PACE leads, and then we have members. We don't tell our PACE leads they have to post anything on the internet. We don't tell our PACE leads, city leads, or members that they have to post anything. We do have members within our community that are creative.
Yeah.
And they want to highlight what's going on at Endorphins. Also, they want to support the community that's given them so much. Like, I think like friendship and connection are really powerful things. And if we can create the space that helps people make friends, like they want to give back to that. And we have people in our community that love to do things, and we can't afford to pay people what they're typically like their normal rates would be, but we pay people because we think it's the right thing to do. And we pay people not even close to what they're worth, but they want to give back. So we're able to compensate people to highlight the things going on in our community. And it creates a cool little flywheel, because then when we're highlighting something that goes on in Philly, more people see it and more people want to go to those events, and people make more friends. So it's kind of like a really big impact wheel.
When I feel like running has become like the community of like running creators is just growing. Like a lot of people that like to run, I think, are just starting to like to make videos too. I think they see everyone else doing it, and it's, I mean, how do you think that that's changed over the past couple of years since you started creating running content?
Yeah, I think like tools to create have become much easier and accessible. There's been way more apps and technologies and AI now to make it like super easy to create content. Also, like I think the societal norms around cringe mountain have changed. Like I think in the next 10 years, everyone will be creating content because it's super normal. Like when I was in high school, Snapchat was super popular.
Yeah.
Right. Like that was really normal for people. I think like in the next decade, it's going to be really normal for you to be posting and expressing yourself using video content on the internet. So people also, what do you want to talk about? You don't want to talk about your job. You want to talk, or maybe you do if that's something that you care about, but you really,
passion.
You want to talk about the thing that aligns your energy and your heart. And that's going to be the thing that you speak about publicly on the internet, probably.
Yeah, I remember way back when I first got Instagram, I'm like, this is kind of weird. Like, I don't want to post photos about myself or like share all the details of my life with people. And now it's so normal. Like posting a story or an actual post in your feed is like, that's a pretty normal thing most people do. And eventually you think the same will happen with like short form content. Is that what you're getting at, or just social in general?
I think people are just going to be speaking about what's going on in their lives more publicly and using video to do so. I think that's just going to become more normal.
Yeah, I think, and I mean, you're already kind of seeing it. Like, I saw this article saying there's 10 million paid creators in the country.
That makes sense.
It's there's so many people out there that are actually really creating content on a regular basis and turning it into a career.
Yeah, it's crazy to think. I also think the platforms are really like incentivizing the small creator. Like when you're just getting out, like when you're just getting started on TikTok or Instagram, like they will promote your content. Like it makes no sense when you have 10 followers and you're getting 100 views on your video. But they're promoting your content so that way you have this dopamine hit of like success and makes you come back for more. I think they even used to say like early days of TikTok, like 1 in 10 videos or 1 in 30 videos would like hit the next tier of engagement, regardless of how it was really performing. And like that would give you a dopamine rush to want to go for it again. And I think like they really do incentivize the small creator.
So for like small creators out there that are either slightly active, want to be more active, like what advice do you have for them on how to go harder and take this to the next level?
Yeah, I think that's really, really a good question. I have like we could have like a 5-hour conversation about this probably.
Okay, let's do it.
I think right now content is a commodity. It's really easy to post a 7-second video with text on it. Yeah. And everyone is doing it. Yeah. And I think that's a huge issue because now content is cheap. I think the best creators are going to be the ones that create something of value, whether it's entertaining, inspiring, or educational, and something that has some sort of storytelling, whether it's in the asset itself, the piece of content, or over a 3-month time frame, meaning like
Mm-hmm.
in the running world, you might see someone say like 90 days until my race, 89
Right.
days until my race. And like there might be a story in that video around the 89th day, but also it's in a bigger story, a more macro story
Yeah.
that is about their training block. And I think like creators that are going to succeed are going to be vulnerable. They're going to share some sort of important information and then also have some sort of story arc that fits into a bigger picture. If you're just posting content to post content, it's not going to work for you because there's so many people, like you said, that are posting content today.
Yeah. We've heard that a similar answer from a lot of creators on this podcast so far. It seems like storytelling, like make sure you have some sort of meaningful story behind an individual post or on a broader spectrum across like multiple posts. But how important do you think like passion is, like focusing on creating content around one of your interests or even like finding passion in the process itself? Like how important is it to be mindful of like why you're doing, just like with the mission of Endorphins, like what advice do you have for people that maybe haven't channeled their passion when it comes to content?
I think you just keep trying to find out what that passion is, but like do what you love. It goes back to that simple statement. Like if you are not passionate about the thing that you're talking about on the internet, it will come off pretty clearly.
Yeah.
And people won't resonate with it. Actually, people will probably say, I don't resonate with this at all. Like I'm turned off by this content. So I think it's really important that you're talking about the thing you do care about, and then you'll be an expert in it. And then you'll find other people that love the same thing as you, which is super powerful. Like some of my best friends right now are people that run and that are also making content about running because they love it too.
Yeah.
And we share that interest together. And that's why like all the people that come to the Endorphins events, I can be best friends with every single one of the members because we all love the same thing. Like whether it's content about running or content about knitting, whatever it may be, like find out what that thing is for you. For me, it just happens to be running.
And when you first started posting, going back to like posting on your personal page, building your personal brand as a runner, did you like, was there a moment where you're like, whoa, this is my format, or this is like this is like a way to make it more repeatable? Like, do you have any more tactical advice on like, cool, I found my passion, it's running and content, but like going a layer deeper into like the strategy, like did you have any like kind of interesting learnings there?
Sure. So you put yourself out there. I did it for 90 days and nothing really stuck. I had some viral videos, but like nothing. I didn't have a systemic format. I didn't have a process. I didn't have like a framework at all. And my idea was like, let me put myself out there and see what works. And then I would continue to create content that fit that framework. But it became pretty clear that like I had a series that was like doing extremely well. Every single one of the videos would get hundreds of thousands of views. The issue with my framework.
What was the series?
The series was me doing long runs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because it's crazy. Like you're like, oh, I'm gonna go run 100 miles.
Yeah.
Like most people don't do that. So immediately you stand out.
Exactly. And also I had a framework where like the hook, the first 3 to 5 seconds of a video, like even early days TikTok, they would say like retention in the first 5 seconds is make or break.
Yeah.
If you have 60% retention after 5 seconds, like your video will go viral. So like really honing in on that first 5 seconds was super important.
So big.
So important. So I had this framework where I would overlay my Strava map with my face. And I would say like, I just ran 50 miles today with my friends. We had such a blast. Like, I can't wait for you to
Casual.
see. Exactly. I can't wait for you to see like what went down. And that would take up the first 3 to 5 seconds. And there's a lot of things going on. Like your eyes are being fixated on a huge number for mileage. Then you see my face talking and then you're looking at the Strava map. It was a lot to digest and was probably really just interesting for the eye. And I would hit that first 5 seconds pretty strong and people would watch the whole videos. And I can picture them now. Yeah. So the issue with that was I was running my body into the ground.
Yeah.
So like the best series is the series that you can do that doesn't like is really replicable, something that is really repeatable, something that you can do without it being a huge expense to you as a human or to your time or to money. Basically, it can't cost a lot to produce. So that makes a lot of sense. So trying to find something, it's like I think there's a lot of people doing like day in the life videos because it's so repeatable. It's just you kind of record your day, which you're going to do anyways. I feel like it needs to be deeper than that, but finding something that's just repeatable and you're not going out. Like for me, I had a conversation with my friend Andy and she was like, she said something similar. And to me, I realized I love making content about photography, like photo shoots, but I don't really get to do that as much anymore.
So if that was my only format, I would actually go do like extra work every week to go and like create that content. So now I'm trying to figure out what is my format that like does align with my daily life or weekly life, but isn't just like come with me to the office and like I had lunch, then I got on the subway. Like I'm trying to find that deeper meaning.
That is who did it amazing was Tim Chisano. Like he would make a story every single day about office life. And it was a different framework. And like he did a voiceover on top of it. And it would start with shots in his place, in his office. Like it was a really interesting framework. And he grew really fast because of that.
Do you know, I don't know his name, but his handle's like Hub's Life. Have you seen this guy?
No.
Shout
out Hub's Life.
He just quit his job actually to be like a full-time
Let's get him on the
creator.
pod.
But he would just record going to the office, super like mundane energy and vibes, but his whole thing was like, this is what it's like. And it would just be him clacking on the keyboard. And then like, but it was a very repeatable format, like sliding open his cubicle. It was like, you knew what you were going to get every time. And he's blown up.
Yeah.
But he had a unique approach to the day in the life because he was just like, yeah, it's actually not that cool. This is just what I do every day. And people loved it because I think of how honest he was.
Yeah. I mean,
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I would love to see it.
Equipment. I like to talk about equipment because I think people get like overwhelmed about everything out there.
Look at all this equipment.
We have a lot of equipment here.
This is insane.
But this is not like where you need to start, right?
No.
What do you think people need to start?
You need a camera of sorts, and luckily iPhones and I guess probably Android devices have really high quality cameras that you can use the back of your phone and film yourself. And like, I know nothing about cameras and I make videos 3 times a day for myself and for my business. So
yeah, it's insane how powerful basically all the auto modes on an iPhone have become.
I filmed something on my bike ride here. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, apparently you read the brief for the podcast on the way here too.
And I've drank my house and I filmed my house. If there's a video of this podcast, we got to overlay my filming on the bike of the house.
Absolutely. Yeah. I need that B-roll.
Shout out House, sponsor me, please.
So how did you learn like composition, or like, do you even think about these things?
No,
or you
I
just,
had no
you just
idea.
shoot.
I had no idea, and I still don't know anything about it.
What is your approach then? Is it mentally like you're looking at your camera like you're talking to a friend, like on FaceTime? Like everyone knows how to FaceTime, right?
Yeah.
Is that how you think about it?
No, because I can't see myself when I'm using my camera because I use the
because you're on 0.5 turned around.
I use this, so it looks like this to me.
Yeah,
and I'm just myself. It's actually probably better this way because I can't see my face and I just say what's on my mind.
I notice I've started to film like that too, because when I can see my face, I start to think like, oh, like I don't like how my hair looks, or like I should change this or that.
Yeah. And
yeah, you just kind of let your guard down when you can't see. Like right now we have this huge TV of us. Yeah, it's good to like just get out of your head.
Totally.
Like that. Let's see. Let's talk about this app a bit more. I think it's cool that there's so many like awesome outcomes for creators in terms of like ways to make money through brand deals, like digital goods. It's a little different for you because you have this whole community and you're really building like your own tech platform. It's pretty involved compared to, and it's super involved compared to building any sort of digital product that other creators are considering doing. What's the process been like in getting this off the ground?
I haven't spoken publicly about this ever, so
really?
I'm pumped. Never spoken about it.
Like, what do you want to share? Because I know it's been hard because I'm a similar day in the life.
It's August and I have Lyme disease and I'm dead. I'm absolutely dead. One of my favorite things to do is run, obviously, and I'm dead. I just got done with back surgery and I'm like starting to train again. And then it starts to get really hot in the summer. I'm like, oh, it's getting hot in the summer. Like, I guess like I just am not built like I used to be. And I went to physical therapy and my physical therapist, Ryan, he's like one of the most important people in my life. I see him every week. He's got me through my rehab. Shout out Finish Line. And he was doing work on my like soft tissue work, just like rehab work. And I was falling asleep on the table. So it's like, there's something wrong with me.
Yeah.
You're probably like, how does this have to do with the app? I promise it gets
I know
there.
it'll come back.
I will come back. I promise. I see Colin's loving this right now. Okay. This is going to go in a lot of different directions. So just like sit tight.
It's a zigzag, just like your life.
Yes, but this is a good one. Okay. I'm on the table. He's doing soft tissue work with me and I fall asleep on the table. He's like, go get checked out now. I run the blood panel. It says Lyme disease. I'm like, you're kidding me. I'm like,
how do you even get that? I don't know much about Lyme
West Side
disease.
Highway ticks, man. The West Side
Really?
Highway ticks. No, that would be crazy though. I actually
You
have
don't know.
no idea, but I had a big bug bite on my leg. I told my physical therapist, I have a bug bite on my leg. I went and got checked out. Lyme disease, like through the roof.
Wow.
So I was like a zombie of a human. I was lying on my couch. I don't know. I never watched TV. I was like watching World War II documentaries. I was watching like
Just because you're so fatigued.
I was dead. I was a zombie. I was a vegetable. Like
Yeah.
I just got over my back surgery and then all of a sudden I got hit with Lyme disease. I'm like,
Yeah, that
this
sucks.
is brutal, but hey, we're going to prevail. We're going to be okay. I'm on my couch. I'm like figuring out how to use my Roku TV. I haven't used it. I'm using this clicker. The clicker is bad. The Roku clicker is bad. For the record. Okay, so I'm clicking
it's not
around
good.
and I'm like lying on my couch for 3 weeks and it starts with like the history of the US. And then like I do a World War I documentary and then I do a World War II documentary. And then like I go all the way for like I do the full US history. And then I'm like, wow, like I should probably like start playing Xbox because like, hey, there's no more US history for me to learn about. So I started playing Xbox. I started playing Call of Duty because of World War II. And I was like, okay, I'm like really going back to the heyday here. Like I'm playing Xbox with random strangers on the internet. Like
You're playing
this
with
is
a
an
random squad?
all-time low. It's an all-time low. And then I was
God.
like, I haven't felt this rush since when I was coding 5 years ago.
Oh, really? Like a flow state.
I was like, I haven't felt this type of energy in my body since I was coding.
Interesting.
I was like, what could I code right now? About a month prior, we sent out a vote. We do a lot of votes in the community. I said to the community, like, it was a huge vote. We asked a ton of questions. And one of the questions was like, is our current community platform working? What would you want differently? And like, should we have our own first party platform? Would it make the experience better? 84% of people said that they did not like our current offering, which was a third party tech platform.
Yep.
And we're paying a ton for it because we've like have so many bells and whistles. We have 25,000 members through this tech platform. It got to be a lot. So I was like, I'm going to build my own.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to build.
So you're stuck at home, done with all the history documentaries, and you just felt like coding something. You're like, was it at the time a community platform or a training app?
No, the idea was to be a community platform.
Okay.
And it still is.
Yeah.
The idea behind it was like, I want to make something that everyone in our community is proud of.
Mhm.
Because I know if our community is proud of it, they'll use it and then we can build the training technology into it. It became really clear also from the feedback form that people wanted activity data linked to their training technology, like to their training workouts. They needed real-time feedback.
Mhm.
That was the one thing that we couldn't do. In our model, we have 25,000 members. So they're like, when we're coaching people, we're doing one-to-many. Like a typical coach will have 100 athletes, like that coach is swamped.
Yeah.
And like, you can't
You
give
just
that
can't be
one-to-one. You
personalized now.
can't be.
Yeah.
But with the rise of AI and all these like technologies coming out of the woodworks in the past 2 years, like it became really easy for us to take data from these third-party tech platforms like Garmin or Coros or Strava and take that data, Apple Watches, and then use that data to make really informed training decisions for athletes.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, oh my God, like we have something really powerful here that can solve like how we've been making money, but also solve our technology platform and help facilitate connection for our members. So our whole idea with the app is like, how can we pair social with performance?
Yeah.
How can we make a really, really strong connection for our members through performance? And it's been growing really, really fast. We have 5,000 people that use it every single day, which is really, really crazy. Our training technology is like super advanced.
Mhm.
But the coolest part about this is I was coding in my kitchen. I was eating Joe Shanghai fried rice every single day and honey stingers on repeat. I mean, we can do an overlay.
You're eating honey stingers for breakfast?
This
or
is
what?
like not giving health and wellness. This is giving like a guy that was possessed on Lyme disease. I was coding every single day and I would just click reorder on Uber Eats and I would order Joe Shanghai. Sponsor me, Joe Shanghai. It's literally
the amount of plugs you've made. This is a new
exactly.
record.
House, Shanghai, and Honey Stinger sponsor me.
No, there's another one. We'll have to, I can't remember what it was.
We'll run it back and we'll figure out what it was. Okay. I think I ordered it 31 times in 30 days.
Oh my God, that's nuts.
I was eating it. And I was having honey
don't
stinger.
fix it if it's not broken.
No,
I guess.
but it was a reorder because I was possessed. I was coding 17 hours a day. And I
remember
help.
seeing your GitHub, like Strava. It was like your Strava, but for GitHub.
Yeah, we can do my GitHub overlay right now. It is insane. Like if you're a coder and you know, like I was pushing 95 to 100 commits every single day, which
Wild.
is nuts.
Yeah.
Nuts. I mean, not every day. Some days we're in like the 30s, 40s, but I did get up to like the 95, 100 range, which is like, I was big numbers. That's like LeBron James numbers of coding. I'm coding every day and I realize like this is not going to work.
Yeah.
Like this is not going to work. Meanwhile, it's race season. Race season for Endorphins is really, really intense.
Mm-hmm.
We, in the fall, will support 6 major marathons. Some are international, some are in the US. And some aren't like world major marathons, but they're huge races, like the Dallas Marathon in December. It's like a huge race. We have tons of members running it, but like that isn't considered a major marathon. Same thing with Philly, Marine Corps, New York. Like there's tons of races. So I was like, we're building out a pop-up, which was insane, which you shot at.
Yeah.
We built out
awesome.
like a 2-story pop-up in Soho. It was insane. And I'm coding every single day. I'm at the Chicago Marathon coding. It made no sense. So I sent out an email to our entire community. And I said, hey, we're building this community platform. Do we have any engineers that want to support the technology that's going to support 25,000 members?
Yeah.
And we had 12 engineers raise their hands.
So cool.
And now we have 12 community engineers that have been supporting the development of our app. And they've been contributing for free, which is crazy. And we obviously immediately said, we want to compensate you. And they said, no, like this is actually something that we know that you're never going to be able to pay me what Google or Microsoft or the banks are paying me. Like I want to do this because this is my passion. Mm-hmm. This is pairing what I do, my energy, which is my job, with my passion, which is supporting runners and running. So it was like an amazing thing. And we now have 2 engineers that came from that community cohort that are full-time engineers for Endorphins. And they're coding every single day, supporting social and performance for our community. And now it's taken a life of its own. Mm-hmm. So that's the whole story. It went from Lyme disease, World War II, Call of Duty, Honey Stinger, Joe Shanghai, 17 hours a day, marathon pop-up, community members coding, and now we have a full team, which is crazy.
Was it hard to admit you needed help?
No. I just didn't want to put something out there that wasn't up to our community standards. I was really nervous that we were going to deliver a product that wasn't great. And everything that we've done, we've really held ourselves to a really high standard. Like we have our own first party performance wear. We have an amazing partnership with New Balance. Like we've had an amazing coaching experience. We do amazing events and we're very, very like mission oriented with those events. And they're very, very purposeful. I didn't want to put out a technology platform that wouldn't work.
So it was bigger than you.
Exactly.
You can't do it all yourself.
And I got to the point where I realized like it's not going to work if it's going to be me every single day doing this while also monitoring the other aspects of the community, which is a full-time job.
You should start sleeping more, I think.
Yeah.
I'm doing the math on the hours you're working a day. And
I should sleep more. I'm working on that.
That's March goals, you said.
Yes, March goal. I'm trying to sleep more.
So with this app, like Endorphins is huge, obviously, but it can only get so big. And I think compared to like running as an entire community, like you'll never be the only running group. There's a bunch of running groups and there's a bunch of running communities. Yeah. Do you like have a vision for like, if you build this technology that helps kind of like motivate community and like performance in the running space, would you want to allow other groups to use it or like?
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, I don't know exactly where it's going to go, to be totally honest. And that's what we do best is we ask our members what they want and we deliver on that. And we're really intentional with that. For me right now, I just want to make the best community experience possible for our members while also making the best training experience for our members. I know that if people love the community and love the training technology, they'll tell their friends about it. Yep. What's really interesting about Endorphins right now is about 40% of our members don't come to events.
So 40% of people in your digital community have never showed up to an event.
Yes.
So what role are they playing? It's just like they're kind of like listening?
They're participating virtually. So like in the community side of our technology, like we allow people to engage and ask questions and learn from each other and support one another. So someone might buy our gear, but not use the digital platform. Someone might use our training technology, but might not come to our events. So there's a lot of different layers to how you can be involved with the community. I just think that if we can solve for the digital side of Endorphins, like then we'll be able to scale to many different groups, many different people, many different identities. We had people in Kansas training with us this year for the New York City Marathon. We don't have a group in Kansas. It's It's crazy.
I see.
We have someone in Hawaii that wears an Endorphins singlet.
It doesn't matter where you're physically located. You can benefit from this community.
If you believe in our mission, you can be part of our community.
That's awesome. So how can anyone seeing this get involved and join that community?
Yeah. There's a lot of different ways that you can get involved.
Is it downloading the app? What's the number one action they can take?
Yeah, if you download our app, like you'll see all 1,500 of our events live through the technology, which is really cool. And then we also have our training technology that you can use, and it's a paid service you can pay, and you can get really, really advanced training technology, which is really exciting.
Love it. Okay, cool. Well, you know where to find it now. And then kind of last thing to touch on, pretty high level, take this anywhere you want. There's people out here, people watching this that want to maybe build a career out of content or creativity. If there's anything you'd have to share, like that you haven't yet, what advice would you give them?
Don't start posting content because you want it to be your job. Do it because it's speaking to you internally, and it's because it's something that you feel like you should be doing because it's going to make you happy. Mm-hmm. If you are doing it because it makes you happy every single day, it doesn't matter what the outcome is. And like when I was posting content on the internet, it was because it brought me a lot of joy, and it was for a creative outlet, and it blossomed into something that I never in a million years could have imagined it would become. And I think that when you see creators that are in it for the wrong reason, it doesn't typically end up working out for them, or they don't involve themselves in the right way, and it feels like they're commoditizing their community quite quickly.
So to make that like slightly more actionable, like I think there are people out there that maybe don't know what their passion is, or like what format of content they could find joy in day to day, but they are maybe entrepreneurial and know they're like, man, there's like, now's the time to be a creator. There's so much opportunity here. Like how can they explore and find what format or space they enjoy when it comes to content?
I don't think that has anything to do with content.
Really?
I think that starts with a pen and paper and like journaling out what makes you happy every single day. Mm-hmm. Is that your coffee in the morning? Is that the sun? Is that nature? Is that hiking? Is that running? Is that basketball? Is it something that you do with your free time? Like think about the things that you do in your free time, and think about the things that move you. And if those things are things that you want to talk about publicly, then that's the content that you make. It's not like, oh, I want to create content. Like I'm going to start talking on the internet. Like you really need to think about what speaks to you.
Love it. Cool. Tyler, thank you for coming on, man. This is awesome.
I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud. We've seen each other grow over the past couple years.
Oh my God.
I'm proud. I'm inspired
and we're just
by
getting
you.
started.
Yeah.
You inspire cool. me. I think I've texted you this before, but I know I'm a runner because of you.
That's cool. That's really cool.
If I didn't accidentally stumble upon, we met at a random event, you're like, come shoot our running group. I started joining the running community on an e-bike with a camera in my hand. I'm like, man, everyone's kind of fun and energetic and like also creative. Like maybe I should start doing this. And then I ended up living near the West Side Highway. I'm like, well, might as well start running. Got my New Balance 1080s.
There you go.
Now I can run longer and faster.
My question for you is, it's cool that you became a runner. Have you made friends through running?
100%. Yeah. I mean, I'm not, as you know, the most active member in your community. I'm like,
you're pretty active.
Usually through my camera. I need to start coming to more runs. But honestly, now that I'm on this app, I think it's just a little more accountability. And I've already been in the past couple of weeks running more than I would have if I wasn't using the app. And now I'm like, I might as well go to the runs and just go and run and not bring my camera and be there to run, not to like, as much as I love taking photos, it's a different, like I'm in a different mental space when I'm shooting, you know?
Sure.
No, I've met so many great people that through you, like Noah, Gino, like that's amazing. They're great people.
That shoot was sick.
Yeah, we did that was a crazy shoot we did.
That was cool.
I'll throw some photos of that up. No, it's been great, and I want to do it. I was talking with Noah the other day about like years ago. I remember going on my first run with a friend who's like a runner. We were in San Francisco. We ran 3 miles on like vacation. I was like, I thought I was gonna die. I could barely run 3 miles, and I'd like stop and walk. And I just ran a half marathon a couple weeks ago. Not fast compared to.
Are you doing the Brooklyn half?
I'm doing the Brooklyn half.
Let's go.
I'm training for it on the Endorphins app.
Let's
dude.
go.
I got to go run after this.
Damn.
So it's cool that you can if you just keep going, you get faster. You can run longer. I think I've learned a lot from running. Honestly, just about patience.
I thought that's where this was going to go, by the way.
We're going to talk about running.
Just like what, like the parallels between running and business, or parallels between running and life.
Let's talk about it.
No, we can't do that. We can't do that. I'm over it.
Okay. Well, we'll cut off of that. We'll talk about that next time.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there are a lot of parallels, and I'm glad that you're starting to see them for yourself.
Yeah, we're just got to keep going, man.
Keep going. This is
all
awesome.
right. Beautiful. Thank you, dude.